would be honored if you would.
This is where the fun begins.
Dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Sithcast podcast.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Yeah,
What happened?
I saw that.
Oh,
Tom was out in the corner. I was like, nobody puts baby in the corner. Sorry to interrupt.
Thanks. Oh yeah, look, I got top row.
yeah. But welcome back to another episode, a special episode of the Sithcast podcast, a Star Wars podcast where we pretty much talk anything and everything Star Wars. I'm one of your hosts, PJ the Paradox Nerd, alongside my co-host Sean Solo.
What's up?
And we got a returning guest today. We got the man, the myth, the legend, Tom Spina from Regal Robot.
I'll say just man and myth at this point. Legend can come later.
No.
You're probably a legend by now.
No,
you're guest card for who punches the card. Do I get a free sandwich this episode yet?
Oh
That's
yeah,
it.
I think at this point we're gonna definitely a free sandwich.
All right, good.
You might get the combo.
It's
Nice.
gonna be
all right, like a drink and a chips. Too.
Oh, you get the drink and chips.
You're never getting rid of me.
well, unfortunately, because of all these new products that you're about to release,
Right.
we're definitely have to get it from the dollar menu at this
Right,
point.
it's gonna be the 6-inch sub. Okay.
Yeah, well, maybe 3 because after all the stuff that you revealed in San Diego Comic-Con, I was like, oh boy. And I think that was a lot of us. That was a lot of us.
It was a lot for us, I'll say. Just putting all that together was tough.
Yeah, and very exciting. Because honestly, though, I think this is probably one of the best conventions that you guys did where you revealed so much products, many products.
It was one of those times where we've done similar, but it was because we didn't have a booth. Mm-hmm. And Lucasfilm had invited us to be part of the that high-end collectibles program that they do. Mm-hmm. They encourage you to make some big announcements and try and make that panel fun. And all of the other attendees, there was PCS and Sideshow and Iron Studios. I mean, they were all doing amazing stuff. So we're just kind of like, this is just little old us. We better pull it together here, But Rob and I had been, working on this lineup for a long time.
Yeah.
What's funny is, and maybe this is why it feels different to us, we look at what we revealed as like, oh, we were only able to get this much ready for that reveal. There's still this much that we have in the works, So it is still the tip of the iceberg, as they say. There's still so much that we're working on, and it's just always, I don't know, you get nervous when you feel like you're showing something of yourself, It's like anytime we do one of those reveals, whether it's one product or 10, it's always just like, is anybody going to like this? Like, and I mean, I know we like this. I know we're excited about it, but you get up on a stage and you enthuse about something, and it's like there's always a chance that someone's just going to go like, oh, that's it, But luckily, we didn't get that this time.
Yeah, who's going to say that, especially in this past convention? I mean, I think I was like, I hope that's it.
Yeah, every slide Rob did, you were like, please be the last slide. No, it reminds me actually, if anybody ever goes through, if you're a collector of original props, like from movies, when the catalogs come out from like Prop Store or Heritage or one of those, you flip through the pages going like, please don't be something I want, please don't be something I want, and like you half look at it because you don't want to see, because if it's in there and you want it, then you got to either try to make it happen, or you just can't bid because stuff goes for crazy money nowadays. But it's one of those things where we had, I think, just the right amount of stuff. It was, we wanted to make a splash. We wanted to wow folks. I wanted to be there myself. It was supposed to be Rob and I on that stage giving the talk, but unfortunately I got a badly timed case of COVID right before the show.
Oh,
yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
But it worked out because I wound up here. And so while Rob was doing it, thankfully Gabe was able to live stream it, which Lucasfilm allowed, which was fantastic. And so I was watching the live stream and then sharing stuff with the group, our Regal Robot Fan and Collector Showcase on Facebook. And it worked out really well. Like I was able to answer people's questions. I was able to show the slides on there. Like that wasn't stuff that would have been easily done from the floor of Comic-Con with, 70,000 nerds on their phone clogging up the stream. So it worked out.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing some of those slides on your Facebook group, which, by the way, guys, I'm going to try to share it right now. If you guys are not part of the Regal Robot Facebook page, please do, because honestly,
you're missing out.
You're missing out on a lot of reviews. Well, and I do want to promote the competition that you guys are having right now,
which ends tomorrow afternoon. So time is now. Get in on it.
Yeah, can you explain to everyone what this competition is about, especially if they haven't entered yet?
Yeah. As long as Eben gets his thing out of the way there.
Sorry.
Oh God, you're friends with him? No, I'm kidding. So this is we recently hit 3,000 members. We're now like 3,300 or something. And so in honor of that, we got together with Prop Store and we're doing a 3,000 members, 3 great prizes contest. All you have to do is click that banner on the top of the page. There's a link there that'll take you to how you enter. And essentially it's let's see, what are the prizes here? You've got
you got a sold out artist proof.
A sold out artist proof of the signature edition of that Reese, which people really like. People pay a lot of money for those non-artist proofs when those turn up. That is a production used storyboard from Indiana Jones Temple of Doom, which Prop Store donated to the contest. Then my friends Brandon Allinger and David Mandel and Wade LaJost put together. It's an insane Ralph McQuarrie book. If you have not seen this book in person, the book weighs, I'm not exaggerating, over 20 pounds. It is 2 volumes. They're massive. I've got my copy in the back holding my coffee table from floating into space. And it is so good. It's purported to be everything he did for Star Wars. And that goes from pre-production of the first movie and like coming up with designs to Christmas cards and holiday cards and things like that, to other artwork for Lucasfilm, and then even to things like stuff he did for toys or books that came after the movies. It's, I mean, as cool as the other ones are, to me, that book is the best prize out of all of these. And it's worth like $300 or $400 is how it's normally priced. So definitely worth getting in there and trying to win that. Thank you for saying we stole the show, Stephen. Much appreciated. Good. Rob did a kick-ass job. He was so good on stage, and he was last, so that means he had a little less time than everybody else because everybody kind of runs a little long, and he had to fly through those at like New York speed because we had a lot of slides.
Wow.
I mean, we'll definitely go through some of those slides tonight.
I mean, anybody who missed the panel, there's on the Regal Robot page, regalrobot.com, go to the news and blog page, and on the news page there's 1 or 2 entries down is all of the San Diego releases that we came out with, so you'll at least get the info there. And then as you go through the newer news entries, you'll see, as we've been leaking out, more details on each, and there's a couple of them that are going up for sale in the next 2 weeks, so exciting times.
Exciting times and expensive times for us. But good expensive times. But first of all, congratulations on the 3.3K members in your Facebook group.
Yeah.
Honestly, you guys run like a very positive group there.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to be part of that group, and amazing stuff. Please, guys, please check out Regal Robot's Facebook page. You will not be disappointed. Enter in that competition, because that's, I mean, those are really amazing.
Sorry, I'm laughing at that comment, but yes, thank you. They are amazing prizes. Please go in. Yeah, it's funny too. That group is only a year old, and now we're up over 3,000 members already. And we kind of started it like, all right, let's give this a shot. It sounded to us like it was going to be really fun. And if we could keep it positive, then I felt like we could do that. And so far, it's really stayed very positive. It's been a great way for folks to get to have a real direct line to us, and not like, I mean, look, anybody who's ordered from us knows all you got to do is email, and Katie is like right back to you.
Oh yeah,
like there is always a direct line to a human being at Regal Robot. But in the group, I don't know, there's an energy to it that happens. Everybody kind of gets together. We all get excited about the same stuff. And it's been a really fun way to interact. And I'm really glad we set that up.
Yeah, I was gonna say too is that like definitely Katie. Shout out to Katie. Does an amazing job with customer service. I mean, Sean had some dealings with Katie as well, because he's
she's fantastic. She's a great asset to your company for sure.
Thank you. It was very emperor-like for Sithcast. A great asset.
A great asset to your Regal Robot.
Yeah. No, she's fantastic. She works so hard and she cares. And numerous times at the studio, she'll dig into something that I'm like, and like, I mean this in a positive way. I'm like, I'm looking at her as she's doing something. I said, I'm like, what other collectible company would actually do what you're doing right now? And it's like, to us, that's a badge of honor. So, when she goes above and beyond, it makes me real happy, and it's often.
Yeah. And it's much appreciated too, from a consumer and collector point of view, just because, many times with a lot of companies, not in the collectible world, but in general, where they're very nice to you when you're about to buy a product, but then after you buy it, they're like, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Like, I bought many laptops where, oh wow, it's going to be the greatest thing, and then I have some issues, and then I'm on 3 hours on the phone trying to get that laptop worked out. So it's much
like a call back. Press 1. Your call is important to us. We're experiencing higher than average call volume. Yeah,
I'm sure a lot of us can relate, and we get anxiety just hearing those words. But let's get straight. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm sorry.
Let's get straight to it. No, you're right.
I know there's a lot of stuff that we're definitely going to talk about. Definitely we'll start off with the Wampa bus, just because that's
look at that.
You announced that it was going to be releasing pretty soon.
Yeah.
I think it's next week. From what I remember on the Facebook group.
It is. Yes. So Tuesday. Just over a week, or just under a week rather, that goes up. It's something that's been in the works a long time. We had this planned at the same time that we were working on the Puppet Wampa replica. Well played, Scott. But it was one of these things that we even thought about trying to release them at the same time. And there's a new picture for folks too. We just snapped that yesterday, actually.
Wow.
And I felt it was really important to show people the scale difference, because it's hard to appreciate how massive this thing is. And it's underneath there. It's actually like the head and a little collar and chest area. In the pictures, it always tends to just look like a head. But kind of that ring around the bottom is actually set back a few inches, and that's his collar and chest. But it's something that we ultimately decided, what, let's give these some air between each other, just because if we released them at the same time, you'd probably get casual fans flipping through the pictures and not realize it's two different things. A close up of one, close up of the other. I mean, I know the difference between them immediately, just because it's that fill sculpt and then the later version. But I've always loved the special edition Wampa. I mean, for me, my favorite is still the puppet, the one on the left. That was my Wampa growing up as a kid. That's the one that got the close-ups. It blew me away that was a puppet that was this big when I found that out. And I was dying to see that in person. The first time I went to the Skywalker Ranch archives, that was so high on my list to see. And I got to see it that first trip. And I was just blown away to just be near that thing. And our puppet gives me that feeling when I'm near it. And so that when we put that out first, and we gave ourselves a little time to work up the big one, and gave us some time to remind people what's going on with it, and give them a clearer picture of the difference between the two. And speaking of, I mean, this is probably the clearest picture. Ravenwood. So yeah, Stephen and Carla, it does. However, they are far back on the head, much like the small one, and they're far enough back that they actually missed the cutoff when we put it on the wall. And if we ended up moving him forward, he started looking like a cat or something. So we just said, okay, if they're past the cutoff, they're also buried in the hair, so it's not, they're not super obvious that he's got ears anyway.
Yeah.
These are questions that we ask ourselves, though. Like, we'll spend like an hour figuring out, like, should he have ears,
Literally, like, it's just like exactly like the prop, right? The costume prop.
Yeah. Except much bigger.
Because
this is one of those times. So this was the other thing. We had to invent the term screen sized, because our other was a 1-to-1 replica of the prop. And then this comes up, and we could have done it the size the actor wore, Howie Weed, who signed the plaques for this. He also worked on the costume. We could have done it the size of his head, which is like human size, not that big. However, people are going to hang this on a wall, and people already have our life-size Tauntaun that they hang on the wall. And it would look weird if you had this little Wampa head and a big Tauntaun. So for us, it was like, okay, this has to be the size it's supposed to be on screen, and not the size it was when they shot it, because they shot it to make him look bigger. And so we had to figure out, okay, how big would this head actually be if he was in scale with the real size Tauntaun? Because our Tauntaun's based on a clay press of one of the original Stuart Freeborn castings. So like, our Tauntaun is spot on the same size as a real Tauntaun. And we've restored a few real Tauntauns, so we really know that. So really for this, it was like, okay, how do we make sure that these are in scale with each other? And then we were like, how do we tell people what we just did? And screen sized is what we came up with. It is the size it's meant to be on screen, which is big.
Yeah, it looks massive, and it looks amazing. I think a lot of us could agree here that.
Do you have one of the shots where it's next to the Tauntaun, or?
Yeah, I could get that, but
I think that really sells like the size. Or I think there's a shot of me with the two of them, and it's just.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull that up.
Just trying to make me look small.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, well, can you let us know, like, how did you like have it scaled to be like a life size a Wampa?
It was a little bit of eyeballing. We know there's some like stats on like how tall a Wampa is supposed to be versus a Tauntaun.
Yeah.
And it's like, 10, 11 feet, something like that. But it really was about like eyeballing it. It really was like putting them side by side. And we did, one day I'll have to pull up the pictures. So we took a digital mock-up, because Christian at the shop took, so for that one, we found through a partner of ours, castings of that head that didn't yet have the hair on it. And they were out of the original molds for that particular Wampa. So we were able to scan those and get an exact representation of what his skin looked like underneath the fur and stuff like that. And then Christian at the shop built out the rest of the head and worked all those pieces together. And then I had him send me just a JPEG of it flat on, and I sketched on hair really badly, and we just blew it up on like multiple sheets of paper at like multiple different scales. And we would just put it next to one of the Tauntauns. And we're like, nope, too small. Nope, too big. And we did it like 4 or 5 times. And then we hit on the right size. And then from there, we 3D printed one in low resolution, like a filament print, and badly stuck hair on it. He looked like one of the Beatles.
Oh, geez.
And then we put that next to the Tauntaun, and it was like, we got to tweak by a couple %. But then we got to where it looked right. We showed it to Lucasfilm, and it was like, okay, yeah, here we go. We figured it out. But it was totally eyeball work. I probably should say like the details about it. So that goes up on Tuesday.
Yeah.
It will be $5,999. That's about $1,000 cheaper than the lower end model of our Tauntaun. Yeah, that was when I was setting up to do the photos on him. We had to come up with a rig.
It looks so good. It looks so good.
It looks so good. I mean,
he's tough to photograph because he's all white.
Right.
And the bird just wants to just turn like all one color. But you can probably see in there. There's yellows and tans and whites and stuff in the fur, like kind of aging. And then there's a lot of this ice treatment. Same kind of treatment that we did on the small one, which is the same thing they did on the Wampa for the special edition. So we figured stay true to that. But yeah, $59.99. The edition size is just 50 pieces.
Really?
And that's for the signature edition.
Okay.
If the signature edition sells fast, and if it sells well, then there might be a day where we maybe consider doing a non-signature, but we're basing that on the sales of our current Tauntauns that we offer, and we're basing it on the price and the fact that we've got other Wampa stuff. So we'll see how it goes. But it's intentionally a tight edition. We're trying to keep the value to it, and it'll be real interesting to see what happens when they go up.
Yeah, I was gonna say is that like I was wondering about the ice treatment because you did that on the bus, and now with the signature edition, how we weed, has signed all 50
correct. Yeah.
I got a chance to meet him in a HorrorCon convention here,
oh nice,
Chiller Theater, and it's funny because I showed him the maquette. I was like, hey, it's because I was like, I didn't know he was going to be there because I mean it's a HorrorCon, you don't expect Star Wars.
He's worked on a lot of horror movies though.
Yeah, I didn't know that, and I was like, oh wow, the guy who wore the costume for the Wampa is here. So I got a chance to talk to him, and I showed him the picture of the maquette, and I was like, hey, listen, I'm definitely going to come back and have you sign a plaque, but then here you go a month later.
Yeah, surprise. Surprise. He had probably already signed them at that point too, because we were working ahead on that. But yeah, it's I mean that's about the scale of it.
He's a beast.
And if you were to go to the news entry that went up yesterday, there's a couple of other shots, but there'll be a shot with Howie coming up if you're on the slides, I'm thinking.
Not sure. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this looks amazing.
So
really.
What you got to do now? You got to do the special edition Wampa paw swiping.
That's right.
So you get the paw and the Tauntaun.
I always wanted to do. It's from the original. It's from the 1980 cut. Is the big paw that hits the Tauntaun like that?
Yeah.
That's a really wicked looking hand too. It's all big and chunky, and it's got real interesting anatomy on the palm.
That would be cool.
Like a big Wampa arm would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it's Howie's great. I'm doing I'll have a video chat with him up. Hopefully it'll be edited and ready to go in time for the launch on Tuesday. If not, we'll get it up shortly after. I love having chats with the guys that worked on this stuff. That's if anybody goes to our YouTube channel, Regal Robot, look it up. So please subscribe and check out all the stuff we've got on there, because there's a lot of great interviews. I actually just put one together that was added a few new things from Kirk Thatcher, but it's everybody that we have already talked to that worked on the maquettes for Return of the Jedi and designed all the creatures for Jabba's palace, and then the rebels like Akbar and Pruneface and all of that too. And it's really cool to see that strung together. It took a long time to put that together too, because it was, going through hours and hours of footage talking with these people. But it really tells the story of like how they got together and started on designing these creatures, and what that process was like, and what George's reactions were to things, and how involved he was in the process, and what working with Phil was like, and the pressures they were under. And it's like 10 or 11 minutes long. It's really worth a watch if anybody wants to check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, please, guys, check out Regal Robot in all like the social media platforms, especially YouTube and Instagram, and obviously please join the Facebook group. But just a really quick question before we move on. Just like the other products you have for Regal Robot, this is qualifies for the payment plan, so that like our significant others are not literally chopping our heads off and sticking it with the Wampa.
You just show them the first payment. No, honey, it was only that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and for an extra price, we'll give you a receipt that says whatever number you want. It's eligible for up to 12 months on the payment plan, and we give people the option where they can put down as much as they want and change the length of the plan. So if somebody says, I'd rather put a little more down and only do a 6-month plan, that's great too. But on this one, I suspect people will take advantage of those 12 months. And here's the other thing. Making 50 of those in a shop where it's literally a handful of people that work on these things. I'm talking like 3 or 4 people will be making these. So it's going to be a months long process, because we're also making all of our other stuff too. So, this isn't like a company that buys stuff overseas and then resells it or whatever, or we don't get a warehouse full of Wampas and they all go out on the same day. People will place their orders. We'll have the first 4 or 5 of them ready to ship probably in about 8 or 10 weeks, I think. And then after that, we'll just keep putting out batches of 4 or 5 at a time throughout, I would say, basically over about the course of a year. And then as people pay off those payment plans at the end, then we'll start to get those ones out. But it's going to be an interesting process putting all those together. And I can't wait till I have it's always cool to do like that first batch of like 5 or 10 of something and take a picture of like a bunch of them together. It's just like, I'm curious what a herd of Wampas is going to look like.
Yeah. It's going to take up a lot of room. I know that.
I'm going to need a big wall.
I seriously wish I won the lottery at this point. No, just because like
Me too. I wish you did too. Yeah.
Just because I'm thinking like if I had a big enough room and be able to like display all these like busts on the wall, it's gonna look like I'm I'm a hunter and I killed all these Star Wars
in the universe.
Yeah, and people are gonna be like, PJ, you're a scary dude, but no. Yeah,
Eben showed up. You must have summoned him with your click before.
Yes. Shout out to Spice Runners Lounge.
Oh gosh.
But like I was gonna say too is that like now you like completed almost like all the creatures. I think all the creatures. I'm trying to think if there's anything. Right, Sean? Is there? I'm thinking like the Vern. Is it the Vernock? The flying creatures. Like literally, I think you
the Minoc.
The Minoc. I'm like the Vernock.
Oh, you're thinking like just Empire creatures?
Yeah, like you're slowly tackling all of them, especially with the oh my gosh, the creature's name, the worm, the slug, the space
slug coming. Yeah, true.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a minute. And
so you're saying we got to do a Minoc?
Yeah. A Minoc. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, why not? You already tackled like 2 of the biggest like creatures in Empire Strikes Back, Wampa and the Tauntaun.
Yeah. Well, then we'd also have to dip into, some of the bounty hunters. We'd have to then we'd have to do a Bosk and a Dengar and well, I guess Dengar is not really a creature, but
okay.
So you got to get your Minoc, you got to get your Minoc in your fog machine and just have that whole,
with those weird tendrils around the mouth.
Yeah.
So the funny thing is that sucker mouth the Minoc has, it's got like those like kind of fingers around those little tendrils. That is the spines from a Greedo mask that they just wrapped around the outside. Okay. It's the same mold for that. Nick Maley made it, and he made the Minoc with somebody else. probably Graham Freeborn. I can't remember if there was someone else involved, but Nick had made the spines for the Greedos, and so he just pulled the same old mold out and said, like, okay, here we go. This is how we're doing this.
Oh,
well, I'm kind of scared though, Tom, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Why is that?
You know, with all these busts that you're releasing, because we're slowly inching to one of my favorite creatures of all time in Star Wars, and it's the Rancor. Like you pretty much tackled the maquette, the prop.
So what's left?
Oh my gosh! Can you imagine?
How big is your wall?
Oh my god!
Yeah,
dude, and you know me, like you're just speaking my language.
A dewback head.
Oh,
so here's the funny thing. I am obsessed with the original, the classic dewback.
Yeah.
If anybody picked up our magnet, I mean, well, anybody who knows us knows that I made a sofa out of that. Richard Riley,
yeah,
out of our butts. So clearly, there's obsession. But the head on that thing is so interesting. It's really made to be viewed from the side. It's super narrow when you look at it from the front. The toy is like big and round. Right. When you look at the real prop, it's like real narrow, and it widens up a little at the back, and then it attaches to a rhinoceros body. But it's such an unusual thing, but I love it. And in our lobby, every time we get a new 3D printer, I have to run a test, you know, to make sure everything works. And on the small ones, I'll run a little dewback test head. It's like a good luck charm. The first time I got a filament printer, I was like, okay, how big a dewback can I print on it? And I printed a dewback head about, I don't know, 10 inches, 12 inches tall. We recently got new filament printers for a project where we were doing, it was 2 concurrent projects. One, we had to print an oversized face for something, non-Star Wars. This was with Tom Spina Designs, my other company. And we had a means of doing it where we could scan something and then rework it to what it needed to be, and then output it at the right scale, because we were replacing the face on something we had worked on years ago, but it was 5 feet tall. And so we got these bigger printers that we could print in pieces. And when I got those printers set up, I was like, I wonder how big a dewback I could print on this. And so I was able to print one about 22 inches long, and it's hanging on the wall in the lobby right now.
Oh no!
Just this little test print, low resolution. It's not, you know, it's nothing you can put out as a product. But every time I look at it, I'm like, we got to find a way to make a dewback head, because it's so good.
Yeah.
But the original is huge. It's 4 feet long. You know, when we did the sofa, that's 75% of the size of the real one. It's 3 feet long, 4 feet long, the head. So like, it's massive. Like, I don't, you know, I look at it and I'm like, I don't have room for that, but I want it. I'll put it at the shop.
Well, you can also sell it to the masses like us. So
yeah, I feel like it's one of those ones where it's funny. I usually am not like a scaled down person, but when we did the sofa and we did it at 3 feet long, it feels right. Like, you look at it and you're like, oh, okay, that's good. Like, that's big enough, substantial enough that I almost think you could do that, and it would give a lot more people a chance to actually, you know, have one.
What if you did like a dewback skull, kind of like, because I just got this yesterday.
Yeah,
that's why I have it.
Yeah. We announced at San Diego Comic-Con that we're going to be doing the next in the skull line there, and these will come out probably early 2025. Is Tauntaun skulls. So
beautiful.
Tauntaun skull, count me in 100%. I procrastinated on this. Like, I've been wanting this for so long, and I don't know why I didn't pick it up. And
it's fun, right?
Yeah, it's almost like
Cipriano did that sculpt with us. He's a brilliant creature sculptor, and he did that in digital, and it fits right in with the Mythosaur skull and the other ones we've got. The Tauntaun is going to be the same kind of way. It's the same scale.
Can't wait for that.
And it's not. It's funny, that is a line that we do. I don't know the exact term for it. It's not really relative scale. It's like it's relative mass is how we approach it. So like, the Rancor skull is not big enough next to, say, the Mudhorn skull, or, you know, the Mudhorn isn't the same scale as the Mythosaur would be, but all of those skulls feel cohesive. They feel like, oh, okay, this is a line. These belong together, even if they're not in scale with each other and all, you know, weird sizes. So so it's one of these things where when we're doing the Tauntaun, it's the same kind of thing. Like that Tauntaun is similar in feel to that Rancor, even though it would be much smaller, but it gives you a nice substantial desk piece.
I feel like I'm in like a Skype meeting where you raise your hand.
Yes, you over there, PJ. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, hi. Hi, Tom. I'm really I'm addicted to your products, and
thanks.
well, how many years has it been since you premiered that sofa in Orlando?
That was April of 2017.
2017.
Wow.
So
maybe
it's
like almost 10 years.
We've been Regal Robot incorporated in 2016, about a year before that celebration. And we were working on our line with Lucasfilm that whole time and preparing and like getting everything ready to go. We were developing the dewback sofa. We were developing the Han Carbonite desk, the Millennium Falcon asteroid table, the Mythosaur skulls with Mio Nakamura, who was sculpting those for us, the big one especially. And then like the director chairs and all of that stuff. But that was all just like literally like the day one stuff. And then we had all this other stuff we were trying to work on for after that. And it's been a heck of a time, man. I feel like I've been going nonstop since that convention. Like it was interesting in the lead up to that because it was all internal. No one knew about it yet, you know? And then it's like there's a very definitive before and after that convention in terms of my mindset. And it feels like ever since that convention, it's been, bah! You know? That's the technical term. Yeah.
And yeah, I was gonna say too, the reason why I bring that up, because I mean, how about maybe a 10-year anniversary where we get a chance to purchase a dewback?
That's a good idea.
I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, because that honestly though, the reason why I say that is because that's when I fell in love with Regal Robot. Being in that convention, and I'm just walking by, I'm like, dewback.
That's literally
no, literally that was me. A dewback sofa, and that's when I went and I got the Mandalorian
the little mini skull. Yeah.
Oh no, the one with the yellow wooden plaque.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That would have been. So if you got the yellow plaque, that would have been the next year, actually.
I don't know if it's next year. I just purchased it on the website.
Oh, okay. No, because that could have been like 2 or 3 months after the convention.
Yeah,
because,
it was.
Yeah, we that came out. That wasn't ready in time for the convention, but it came out shortly after. Yeah, sorry, I thought you got it at the convention. Yeah.
Oh no. I saw it, and then when I looked into the website, that's when I saw there was a bigger version. I was like, yeah, I'll get that. But yes, like just saying that, that put you guys literally on a lot of collectors' like radar, and we never looked back since. And we're hoping, well, I'm hoping at least, I can't speak for everyone, maybe a dewback bust. And
I love that idea.
Just give me like at least like 2 years.
That is a good idea.
And I was gonna say, maybe give me
ideas for people's desks. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say, how about give me at least like maybe 5 years heads up if you're gonna release a Rancor bus.
Right, full set. Because you're gonna have to blow out that side of the room so you can.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! And I want to get the bone and just okay. Anyway.
Yes. Yeah. That's a great idea. Have bone snapping action. You press a button and it shatters, just blinds people. It won't be any lawsuits. It'll be fine.
Oh yeah. But yeah, very excited, guys. Please mark it in your calendars. Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday is the Wampa.
The Wampa. Same time, same place. Tom.
Same time, same place. Noon Eastern on regalrobot.com.
I like to play games here, Sean. How long does you think before it sells out?
50 of them.
I think you want the last one, right? Like where you gave it like 3 or 4 hours or something like that for the Jar Jar Binks maquette. Yeah, and literally, I think you were pretty much on point.
I won that one. So the Wampa.
I say
the 12-month payment plan is going to entice a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yes,
I have to say that.
Yeah,
so that's going to speed up that's going to speed up how quick.
Yeah, and I was going to say too, like nothing against the Tauntaun. the
Yeah.
Tauntaun is amazing, but the Wampa is just literally badass, super badass.
It's funny about that because I'm thinking like based on the way the Tauntaun goes and that pace, I'm like, nah, that'll probably the Wampa is going to be around for a while. And that was our kind of thinking. But the more this week has shown, like as we've shown pictures and stuff, now I'm not so sure.
Yeah, it looks good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then so I don't know. Do you want to throw a number on this? I'm not doing it. I'm not playing.
You're not playing. I say a day, a full day. Give me at least 24 hours.
I don't know about that.
I'm saying I'm going 48 hours.
48 hours? Okay.
I'm going 2 days.
We'll see.
It's 25 a day.
I mean, it's only 50. I know but there's a lot of people who have been really falling in love with this bust.
It's gonna surprise. Like I think we had someone come to the shop to pick something up, and I had the bust out for doing photos, and he like stopped in his tracks to look at it. I was like, "Whoa!" And I don't think it was on his radar before, but seeing it in person,
it's just a really badass piece. It has a lot of presence, right? Where it's going to turn a lot of heads.
Yeah,
and
it's not tremendously deep. It's big, but we kept it to where it's only like 14 or 15 inches deep or something like that. And it still has all that presence, but it's not like, sticking into your room 3 feet or something like that, where you can't put it on. Like you've got to be careful what wall you put it on or something. Like it has that presence. It has a ton of depth without being super, super deep, which is cool.
Yeah.
And then, sorry, go ahead.
Weight.
I'm going to say about probably close to 20 pounds.
Okay,
it's not terrible, and we'll have a French cleat on it, so it'll hang the way the Tauntaun hangs, and you just put the one piece of the cleat on the wall, make sure it's level, and then and it just slides on it. So pretty simple stuff. You just got to make sure you hit a beam, and use anchors because it's hefty.
Why do you do this to us? Oh man! I just
puppeteer. I'm pulling your strings. Actually, here I can pull Sean's strings anyway.
Well, you pull this string with the.
There it goes.
You pull this string with not only the the skull, but also like the. Can you imagine like that bust next to like the Chewbacca, right?
It's
just like wow.
It makes me want to do a Chewbacca with the snow on him. But next to the Tauntaun, it's so good. It's one of these things where I look at it and I'm like, if every person that bought our Tauntaun doesn't buy one of these, they're missing out. Like if you have our Tauntaun, you need the Wampa.
I think you have
so good together.
I think that's what I'm saying. Like you have to at this point because I mean those two creatures. Just kind of
go hand in hand.
Hand in hand, exactly, literally.
Hand in hand, or guts in mouth, or whatever. But hand in hand, head in hand. So we should probably fast forward a week later, though.
Well,
because that's where you're going to get. So people don't realize I sent PJ stuff earlier that no one's seen before. In addition to those 2 Wampa shots, the side by side with the puppet and stuff. But just yesterday, we got our first sketches from Dave Carson for the Legacy Edition of the Gamorrean Guard bust maquette.
Oh, that looks cool.
And they are, I thought Ken Ralston's sketches from Klaatu would never be beat.
Look at
these
this.
It's hard to call them sketches.
Yeah, exactly. They look so good.
This started with Phil doing like, little one-line drawings of like a Rancor and some silhouette type stuff. And it has evolved over time. It feels like every time we have someone do something, they just surprise us. These guys are so talented. Sorry, I'm just seeing Steven Usada's question. It is detailed. It's because his mouth is bigger, it is a little easier to see the back of it. What's funny is on the real costume, you would be seeing Howie Weed's face if you looked that far into it. But it's pretty detailed in there. The tongue is amazing, and it's all, the tongue is actually scanned off the original tongue and everything. So, but yeah, the Jar Jar sketches were great. Tony McVeigh did a beautiful job. So far, every sketch we've gotten from Dave Carson has been 100% unique. Every one of them is different. And I mean, I love, if you look at that one second from the left, where it's like a Gamorrean with his axe up and the shadow behind him, like just brilliant stuff.
I love how he colors them in too.
Yeah,
they're all watercolor. Yeah,
wow.
And we've got. There's other photos of him working on them, and I took pictures of about 20 of them. If you want to scroll, PJ.
Yeah.
Do you have?
Yeah. There. Well,
so yeah,
let me. Yeah, here it is.
So there he is. Yeah.
Oh my.
So he did some ink line drawing first, and then he colored them in with watercolors, and like.
Wow.
You go back to the other shot. Does it show any? Oh, I think the other shot's just him smiling, but that's fine too. Thanks, Dave.
It's like the.
Yeah. Now he is such a nice guy. So he's so good to have been a part of a few editions of ours now, and he did the 9 Numb with us, and the Gamorrean is the thing he's probably most known for. This particular, there's 3 or 4 different versions. There's at least 3 versions of the Gamorrean that come up that he worked on. And then he sculpted the full-size head. And I am so partial to this particular maquette, the bust version. Mm-hmm. It has this brutish, like troll-like kind of vibe to it. It's tough to tell from these pictures. I think I might have given you one where it's in someone's hands. The size on it is really, it's massive. And it weighs a ton. And it's a big hunk of resin on each one of these. Tons of detail. He's got all this armor and plating, and on the back there's like chips and things where it was like broken and he didn't paint inside of it. And so we kind of captured all of that. His paint work on it was very layered, very loose, similar to Klaatu, but a little looser, which is actually tougher to do. It's a heck of a piece. And it's going to be, it's going to be interesting as we get all of these made. They've already painted up, I want to say about 10 or 20 of them, not 10, definitely 20. We're currently waiting on it needs a bigger box than our normal maquettes. So we're waiting on those boxes to be done and the foam inserts. So as people order these, the folks who pay in full up front, those orders will ship probably in about 6 or 8 weeks for at least the first 25 or 30 of them. And then slowly after that, they'll go out, maybe 10 a week or something for a while after that. And then the people on payment plans once they're done. But it's a really cool one. It's a little more than the last couple. I believe it's priced the same as the Baby Yoda. So this is going to be $549 for the signature edition. 125 pieces in the signature edition, and the legacy edition with the artwork is going to be only 60 pieces, and it's going to be $849. So a little more than the usual legacy. Same difference in price between legacy and signature, but based on the quality of the sketches, what we were able to get Dave to do with us, and the pricing, we felt a tighter edition size would help keep this thing special. So that's where this guy's going to come in, and he comes out on September 3rd.
Yay, that's my birthday.
Oh, what do you know? You know what that means? You won't get one for free, but we'll,
No, but I was going to
wait. My birthday's next week. Come on.
He gets on. Well, then we should just give him a Wampa, and you.
I get the Wampa, and you get the maquette.
TJ's calling his mom. It's like, why couldn't you have had me earlier? God.
Sean's got a Wampa.
I was going to say, speaking of mom, this is something that I could I could give her like send her a link to this video.
There you go.
Hey mom, birthday gift. Tell dad maybe get the gang and chip in for this.
Yeah,
maybe.
just this. Maybe you saw this.
Yeah, no, but 2 hours. 2 hours, Sean. 2 hours. Sean and Tom.
It's
2
possible.
hours.
It's possible.
Actually, no. I take it back. I give it an hour.
It's one. You know what? It's funny. The legacy edition. The price that these had to be, and this is everything we ever do. I always say this. Everything we ever do is as low a price as we can get it. So every price is literally like what it has to be. And at that price, we were like, okay, let's balance this out with a little bit of a tighter edition size. But the idea here is, that's going to sell fast. And I'm kind of with you. I'm thinking like 3 or 4 hours, but I'm always conservative with this stuff. But I do think, and the real thing is when those I can't even call them sketches. You know what I mean?
Well, they're mini paintings.
These mini paintings. I was just like, oh, this is now it's definitely selling out. That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder. Yeah, maybe there's a plug-in for that. Do you have before we get off of the Gamorrean? Do you have that picture that I gave you? There's a couple of pictures I sent that are just the paintings.
Yeah, let's
call them paintings. I like that.
Yeah,
that's what they are. Right?
You
add watercolor to them, it's a painting.
Yeah. Well, and if we zoom in on a few, you'll see. They're so good on the character in every one of them.
I'm sorry. I was excited when you sent me. I think you said it in sets. Like I got the painting. I was like, oh, cool. And then I got anyway, here it is. Holy moly. CC, I know you're watching.
The thing is, you're not going to be disappointed with whichever one you get.
Yeah, and so it's funny. I pasted this together so you could see. I accidentally duplicated a row there.
Yeah.
But there are, if you take out that, there's not really duplicates here. Like,
wow,
they're just beautiful, and they've got. It's not even just that they're painted. Like they've got so much character. If you zoom in on some of I don't know if you can zoom in, but if you can zoom in, like you'll just see like the detail holds up as close as you get, and they're just these beautiful little mini paintings. And oh man, we were blown away. And it's funny. I mean, like every time we get these, when we do a legacy edition, Rob and I are like, okay, well, which one do I get to keep? And we just looked and we're like, I can't choose. Like, what do we do? Like, I think we're gonna just roll some dice or something.
Yeah, because
the over the shoulder is really cool. CC3PO.
Oh my
God! I love that one that you're hovering on, the one with the shadow and the axe up. That just really is cool. The shadow in the one on the left is great. The blood stain on the axe, next to him, they're all just so good. But the one looking over his shoulder, oh man!
And this is like super unique. Definitely one of a kind too, because it's watercolored and it's not a sketch. It's like literally like, oh my God.
Like we went from outline markers to beautiful pencils to now this. And I feel bad for whoever does the next legacy edition. Like, oh man,
but I don't know. They might want to one competition. They might want to
Ken's for the legacy Klaatu, which by the way, if we're getting to the point where we're filling in all of the spots on that and shipping a lot of those Klaatus. If anybody missed out on the Ken Ralston legacy Klaatu, there is a wait list for it. Now is the time to start hitting that, because as we go through this and as we get towards the ends of the payment plans, that's when you start to figure out like, oh, okay, we had a couple people default and we get 2 openings or something. So if you did miss that and you want to get on the wait list, check it out. Ken's sketches are basically this level as well. He did his with like Prismacolor or those color markers. His have a little more of a cartoony vibe, which is just Ken's style, and they're amazing. But Dave's, it's again, it's a style thing. Like you look at this and this came out of the hand of an artist, and Dave is someone that not only, did sculpting for Return of the Jedi, not only sculpted maquettes and designed creatures, sculpted full-scale creatures, but he also did storyboards for Return of the Jedi. And there are storyboards he did that I thought were Joe Johnston storyboards my whole life. And then later come to find out, like, oh man, that's Dave. And it's like, I don't know whether he was intentionally aping Joe's style because that's the way all the other storyboards were, or that, that's just how he draws too. But to accidentally draw like Joe Johnston, like, holy crap. But yeah, I'm so excited about these sketches. Like when they came in, it was just yesterday, I think. We were just like, okay, that's it. I don't know. This is tough to beat.
I want this one.
Yeah,
I'm actually on your website now, looking at the Klaatu ones for Ken.
Yeah, they're really fun.
They look great. Yeah,
and he had a lot of them that had senses of humor too. Like there's a couple of them doing like and stuff like that, and just funny faces and things. But they're beautiful. And yeah, I mean, these guys are all like they're artists, and they're not just people who happen to make something for a movie 40 years ago. Like these are guys who have been artists since they were born, and they'll be artists till they die. And I feel so lucky that they have all wanted to be a part of this with us, and that when we suggested this, they didn't say, I don't want to make 60 paintings. Leave me alone, kid. Or like, I don't want to make 100 sketches, whatever. They all, once they got the idea that we were talking about, they've all jumped in. And Dave especially was really keen to do it. Like when he's like, oh, that sounds fun. Let's do it. Ken also jumped right in on it. And it's just been cool to see how each one of them does it too. You've got this range from Phil's wild id-fueled sketching to Tom Sannemon's very consistent and even kind of approach to it. Not quite mechanical, but he's the machinist, he's the armature maker. You see that come through to Tony McVeigh's very like fine art pencil kind of approach. The master sculptor, he's got not just detail but finesse and anatomy. And then Ken bringing the humor, and now Dave bringing his style to it. It's just it's an insane line. I can't believe we've gotten to do this, and we've only been working on it since like last November was the first release that we did with a sketch edition, and look what it's become.
Yeah, I was gonna say we are very fortunate and very lucky to be able to get a chance to own like a piece of history here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
These guys aren't just going out and making sketches and selling them. Like
no,
if you want to have a Phil Tippett original sketch, you don't just go get that. Like you
don't go to a convention and say, hey Phil, can you get me can you do a commission for me?
Right.
It doesn't happen that way.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, and obviously, in terms of comic book artists, that if you go to a convention and you ask for commission, they charge a hefty price, and to be able to own this at a really reasonable price, at the same time own the maquette is a steal in my opinion.
And you're getting, it's like the sketch is being done by the person who designed it. It's like he's not just making some sketch of a character. Like he's the one who said, like, well, what if we made a pig but made him green and did the little tusks and put the horns on him and the helmet?
Yeah.
That's Dave. Dave came up with that. These aren't easy to come by on their own either. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
it is not easy. Yeah, that's for sure. I love Ken Ralston's signature. Dave Carson's got a great signature too. If I think I sent you a picture of one of the signature editions, but Ken's signature is like almost Walt Disney level. Like it's really good.
Yeah, it looks great.
Hey, Sean, which one would you pick out of all of them?
That's tough, man.
Yeah.
I think my favorite, is this one up top here, the top left, or even the side shot.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, Rob liked that one with the axe. I gotta say, for whatever reason, I love that one with the shadow in the middle there. I also I dig the big face where it's just right in it. Like I think that's just bold.
That's the one I'm drawn to for some reasons. The one
yeah, like you put that in the frame and it's just going to be like boom right there.
Yeah.
Bottom left I like too.
Yeah, he's almost he looks shifty.
Like, yeah, and you see a little bit of the axe, like he's about to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be really cool to get to show folks the rest of these as they go. I love this. Is my favorite part is as these go out is seeing people start posting them and like, oh, I got this one. Oh, I got that one. It's funny. I remember I really wish I had cropped that better because I had to stitch together a few pics, but what did I do? I did 6 and it should have only been 5 rows because it was 20. Oh well. But we had a couple people who just got their Rancors in, and Phil did like a little run of Rancors where they had just snapped the bone. Some with the mouth a little open, some a little more closed, some with different bone fragments. And it was like 2 or 3 people in a row. They must have, been like putting the plaques together at the same time. And it was just like, oh man, Phil was in his bone snap phase,
Yeah. Oh man, this is, I think, I definitely need to have this. Just because not only the like I said, we won't call it a sketch, but the painting is so unique. And now it's artwork. Plus on the top of that, the maquette is freaking awesome.
I know.
And there's Melissa again.
Yeah, that maquette is beautiful.
He's just got this troll-like sense about him. It's really, he's beefy as anything. If you go back to the collection pick, going the other way. It's amazing to me just how many of these things we've gotten done so far. I'm looking there and it's just like. It's funny. Yak Face is almost cut off all the way on the right. He's barely there.
I know.
We're going to need a bigger table where we take our pictures. It's we started this with the Tauntaun on the far right because we had access to Phil's original molds, and then we crafted the Jabba based on measurements and photos that we got from the archives. But then 3D scanning really took off, and it was like a means to do these authentically and to make them, as spot on as we could. And it's just been every time we make a new one, like I can't wait to put it on the shelves. And it's funny. The hardest thing right now was fitting the Gamorrean on my shelves because anybody watches our live stream, I've got like 2 shelves of these and it's time to expand. The problem is there's a shelf that I hide from the live stream, which is currently filled with prototypes of future maquettes.
Oh my god! Just turn that camera.
Yeah.
We like seeing you, Tom, but we want to see behind the camera. Literally,
show the board. Show the board. The next time we do, I think we might do a live stream Monday. So if anybody wants to do a Q&A with me and Rob, that'll be the time. But I'm expecting like on that live stream to just see chanting in the comments. Show the board. Show the board.
Guys. Actually, let's do it. Like, what time's the live stream? Monday? Was it?
It'll probably be Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern.
I know. Yeah. So 3 p.m. Eastern time, guys. Let's just bombard that chat. Show
that'll be on the Regal Robot Facebook page, not the group, but the page. But we'll throw a link in the group.
Oh, wow. Greg said this will be his first Legacy Edition maquette. I'm telling you, Tom, 1 hour, man.
Yeah.
1 hour.
It's looking that way. Jeez. But it's good. It's interesting. The Bib Fortuna is almost sold out. So here's what's happened in the past. There's Legacy Edition, Signature Edition, right? And I'm going to stick to that just because we normally, that's what we've been doing since last year. 2 editions. The more expensive, better one, and or whatever, different options. But usually, it's like the Legacy sells out real fast, and then the Signature sells out slowly. What was interesting was the Bib Fortuna, the Legacy and the Signature sold at equal rates. So they're both hovering around like 20 pieces left, and it's kind of wild because usually it would be like, oh, the first day the legacy sold out, and then we have like more than half of the signature left. But in this case, for whatever reason, the Bib Fortuna, a lot of people were going for the signature. I'd be curious, and maybe this is a good thing to put up on the board or for folks to tell us in the comments here or on our live stream, if you chose the Bib Fortuna signature over the legacy, I'd love to know why. And I think it's interesting feedback to have. And we are, every time we release one of these, we're learning what people are into and what moves them. But it's also, every one of them, it's a different character, it's a different artist, it's a different time. It's maybe something that Bib Fortuna doesn't do it for people the same way, or maybe they already have Phil's sketch from the Wampa and the Rancor, so they feel they don't need another Phil sketch. Who knows? But I'd be curious what it is. But it's funny. It sold probably more than most of the other maquettes sell in this time period. But it's just been an even movement rather than the typical legacy is sold out right away and the other one's still going.
Yeah.
But it's going to be, it'll be real. This one is feeling pretty darn fresh. And it's funny. So this picture was what we showed at Comic-Con. And that sketch Dave just did as a quick test for us right before Comic-Con. And so I saw that and I was like, oh, these sketches are going to be great. And then when they came in, I was like, oh, forget it. Like, these are so much better even than that.
Yeah, I think people were excited for the reveal because of the maquette is awesome looking. And I think I told you, we were talking about it earlier, is that I think I'd rather have the maquette on screen rather than what we got because it looks so cool and looks more menacing. Yeah. But it's safe to say this Legacy Edition is going to be really, really like in demand, and I think it's going to sell out pretty quick. Yeah. I think you got me as one of. I mean, looking at the chat, you got already quite a few people that are going to be like, "This is going to be my first Legacy." Sean, are you with me, or are you again?
Thinking Legacy could be Legacy.
No, Legacy, dude.
I don't. No, but I don't collect a lot of the maquette line. It's just kind of like a niche thing that I just don't have space for it. I did get the Rancor, which I think I've got 2 payments left, and then that's on its way.
Oh, nice.
So now once that's paid off, I do like the Gamorrean Guard a lot. So I'm like, I'm thinking on this one.
We did the Gamorrean Guard that Tony McVeigh sculpted for The Mandalorian using his molds. That edition's now closed. That was not a signature or legacy edition or anything like that. So this will be our only pig for a while. There are 2 other maquettes of the Pig Guard, so never say never that we don't attack those someday. But I would imagine doing a Gamorrean now means we're going to go through a bunch of other ones before we would even think about revisiting.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I know you were asking like, why, you want to know like what, makes people buy certain things and certain characters. That's just Star Wars, Tom. Like, for me, you put out a Rancor, I'm going to get it.
Yep.
Like, Rancor is like my ultimate like creature that I want to own and want to have in my collection.
Totally get it.
That's why, like, when you released the first Rancor, I was like, yep, on it, like literally on it.
Like running out the door. Mine.
Yeah, mine. Sean, his cat. Which is your favorite creature, Sean?
Oh, I like the Rancor a lot too.
Yeah, well, see, he's
Tauntaun too. Tauntaun and Rancor,
yeah. So we get these, and I just think people are just gravitated to their favorite creature or character that they saw on screen for the first time.
A lot of people like a Gamorrean. Well, it's kind of like us doing the axe, which
well, that's actually a great segue.
What a segue!
What a segue! Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
All right.
So this is one of those pieces where, to me, I always just think back to the toy. That was the axe that came with the Kenner figure. It's such a unique shape. It's so unusual. The big gap in the handle there, or in the blade rather. And when we got to see it at the archives and scan it and get our hands on it and photo and color match and stuff, it's just, you're just holding this giant thing and you're like, it looks so small in his hand. But his hands are huge. So it's just one of these ones where you're like, you don't know you need it until you hold it. And the cool thing is, the real prop is made from like vacuum formed plastic and a very lightweight piece of wood. Ours is solid resin all the way through. So like you pick up ours and it feels like it's a real weapon compared to the real one, which almost feels like a toy or something. But this was one of those things that we've been talking about for a while, that we were going to do a Return of the Jedi prop. And I don't know if anybody guessed it. Like, because we had people guessing all kinds of stuff. Did you say?
I did. We were backstage last time you were on, and I guess
that's right. Yeah.
Remember? And you're like, "Don't say a word." I was like, "All right."
That's it.
But yeah.
Publicly, you know.
Yeah.
I don't mean Sean. I mean people.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But this thing's great when your daughter's date shows up and you come to the door with this, and you're like, "Hey, have her home."
You need like a sharpening stone.
Yeah. Just
thank you, Stephen, for that feedback. By the way, that's good to know. And I saw someone else had a similar sort of answer. It's good stuff. So what I think we can quickly kind of go through some of the other. We talked about the Tauntaun skulls. I know there's a teaser for that in there somewhere.
Yeah, just really quick though. I know a lot of people have been
questions, comments, concerns.
Yeah, with the blade, it's obviously made out of real metal, correct?
It's all just resin.
Okay.
Painted well, I hope.
Oh, it looks like metal.
It looks like metal.
Yeah, it's a mix of a bunch of different, rust tones and dark tones, blacks and grays, and then some silver. And it's old school. I mean, the original is painted exactly the same way. We use the same spatters and stuff, and we try to really just match how they painted it. It would be easy to try and make it look more like metal. But I'm very much like, let's just be true to the original.
Oh yeah.
And expectation of this release?
Price on this, let's see. So we don't have a date yet. They are in pre-production for us, which means we've done the first few castings and a couple of paint tests, and we're just starting to gear up on the production casting just so we can get ahead. I believe that'll come out before the end of the year. All of this is obviously, believe it when it's on the website and you can buy it. But and price wise, oh gosh, I was just looking at this with Rob before. It is going to come with a cool wall hanger that has a plaque on it.
Oh my goodness.
It is not a signature edition in this case, but the wall hanger goes and it holds it in that area where the Gamorrean is holding it. And it holds it sideways, which is really cool. And then the plaque sits above it. And I want to say the pricing we came up with was, darn it, I think it was $15.99. I know it was less than the gaffy stick, the A New Hope gaffy stick. So, we're doing.
Oh my gosh.
And this is all hand painted by our team in the New York shop. So every one of these is going to be, hand stained, hand painted, made to look as close to metal as it can. That's funny. Yeah, I got somebody found. I think it was hangers for a baseball bat on the wall. Yeah, that work great for a gaffy stick. If anyone's curious, that's how I actually have mine on the wall up here. So yeah, Gamorrean axe. Probably before the end of the year, we'll see how.
Just in time for Christmas, hopefully.
Holiday season. I would like it to be. F-Huntmon in the works. Hoped to be before the end of the year. We're working on some of this, some of the details of reproducing his cloak and the particular distressing and stuff on there. But we'd like to get them available for reservation before the end of the year. We were trying to get 3 more maquettes in by the end of the year, which would mean then we'd have to have like one now, one in like late September or early October, and then another in like November. I think we might end up with just 2. We'll see how that goes. But we have a few that are sort of ready to go. So we're working our way through it.
Well, really excited for
there's
that.
The mock-up of the Tauntaun there. That's the digital sculpt of it, just shown at scale. And
awesome.
The digital sculpt, this is actually a physical sculpt by Mio Nakamura, who sculpted the skull on the left there for us, which she sculpted at a medium scale. And then we digitally scanned it, blew it up, did some tweaks to it for reproduction and things like that. And then we also shrunk it down to make the small one and adjusted the details so that it made sense in that scale too, because you can't if you just shrink it down, all the detail sort of goes away. So we go in and Christian at the shop really dialed that thing in, and the mini one is really cool. But those will be out early next year. We're working on production for those now, and we have a few ideas about how we're going to produce them. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, can I say we showcased this, like, what is it, Sean? Like maybe a week or 2 weeks ago, and the feedback was
it's
through the roof with the positivity. Like people are really excited. They're like, wait, where can I get this thing? Like how? Where?
And while they're waiting, they should pick up the Mythosaur skull on the left, so they have something to display with it.
Yeah, it's looking really good, and honestly, like I'm very excited.
I like this Tauntaun head a lot.
Yes,
thank you.
They're
going to be cool.
If I've got some wall space, this thing's coming home.
I mean, you put 2 of those on either side of a fireplace or something, man. Like,
my wife's gonna be like, "What is that? When did you start? When did you start?"
I found it at a thrift store. Somebody must have been a hunter.
They're gonna be like, they'll be like, my wife's gonna be like, when did you kill like a really mean like sheep? Like what's wrong with you?
One of them big horns. Yeah.
But to be honest, like the Tauntaun looks like a friendly creature, but with this skull, like
it looks devilish.
Badass.
It looks badass.
Devilish.
It looks badass. So I'm really excited. This is definitely coming home to Papa me.
Papa P.
Yes. And also you get the mini one.
There you go.
And then Sean showcased the Rancor earlier. Sean, if you don't mind showing everyone again.
Oh, it's back in the box.
Oh, okay, it's back in the box. It's back in the box. So a really good collection. And you know what too? Like I think too is that like if you get a whole bunch of these together and put it like in the I don't know, the wall or in I don't know,
there's a way to do that. Or little risers in the back of a shelf or something across your desk.
Yeah.
Like it's a collection. It's not just any, it's not just single pieces anymore, like we're trying to give people stuff that works together, and that if you get one, it makes sense to get the rest of them, or it makes you want to bring them home, because that's what I want to do when I get this stuff.
Lewis is, I don't know if he can answer this.
More coming soon. He's big. That's the news on F-On. He makes the Rancor look like a little kid. He's no man, but he is one of the biggest ones. He's certainly one of the tallest, and just the mass that he's got from that whole cloak and everything. But he's coming along really cool. The prototype is basically done for the physical work, and now it's down to the deco and the clothing and stuff like that. Soft goods, as they say in the industry.
Well, how about this skull? When will this? Is it the same time as the other skull?
Yeah, we're gonna release that and the big skull at the same time for sure.
Okay.
Unless something goes weird with how we get them into production, where like one of them gets done super early, then maybe we put one out early. But my idea is to put those out at the same time.
Only reason why I'm hoping at least the mini one before Christmas, because it's such a nice stocking stuffer.
It is.
It's just like, honey, what's this? Not a coal, but a Tauntaun mini skull. Thank you.
We're trying to figure out what's going to be. So, every year at Black Friday, we try and put something new out. We have a couple ideas for this year. It's late, so we're working our way through that now. I believe the Tauntauns are going to end up in 2025, though. But we'll have something for Black Friday. There'll be something there.
Yeah, and I love your Black Friday sales. They're amazing and
we try
really fast shipping. Because I remember I ordered like I think it was on Black Friday. Literally, it was shipped out by Monday.
Yeah, they work their butts off on, and it's funny because the Black Friday is like particularly tough on me because I give the crew off for Thanksgiving and Black Friday, and then that Saturday and Sunday everybody's off. And so like anybody who's having problems with the website, anybody who's having questions, I'm like just like this, hunkered on a computer all day answering emails and stuff like that. But you know, we've kind of committed to having those days off every year, and I don't know, one day maybe I got to turn that around. But when we come in on Monday, you know, there are just, you know, sheets of paper coming out of the copier, coming out of the printer with all the orders, and they're just getting them. And it's, you know, Katie and Christine and Ross and Tracy, and usually we grab a couple of the artists from the back to help them and just, you know, just get boxes and boxes and boxes off.
Yeah, and I would really appreciate that because literally, like, I was like, "Oh, it's shipped! Wow, that's pretty damn."
We don't want to leave anybody's, you know, holiday in a lurch either. So, you know,
yeah, and we definitely talked about this.
Talked about that. We talked about that. Who else was in there? Tauntaun. Oh, we didn't talk about these guys.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you think, huh? So yeah, this is something that actually, if you go, I don't know, if you go back this way, one is it the rest of the pictures? This? Oh, there we go. Yeah. So that's for scale. That's a 3 3/4 action figure next to him on the left. That's our little. We made a little Regal Robot guy.
I was like, is this a life-size slug?
Yeah. So
yes,
imagine
Sean,
that. Imagine that.
Yeah, that's the size of like 5 football fields.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it would be massive.
Tom, I didn't know you were going to go all out on this one.
So this is one of those ones where the original prop is bigger than people think. And so when we started looking at this to replicate it, and this will be 2025 as well, by the way.
Damn.
When
well, I mean, that's good.
If I did say it, he'd be like, "Oh, my wallet." So I'm giving him
no. But I think, I was thinking about it. It's like, it gives
you time to pay off that, you know, the Gamorrean, and then you can pay off the Wampa.
Yeah, well, you know, Gamorrean, I was like kind of on the fence with because I was like, maquettes. But then when I saw that sketch, just like. Sold.
Screen size. Thank you, Stephen. Yeah, we're avoiding screen size on this. We're doing so the idea originally was the 1-to-1 prop replica, and then it was like, well, how do people expect it to be? Because in the archives, it's just sort of very straight. It's very museum presentation. You know, this is the real prop, and that's it, which I love for my displays. But I know a lot of people like a little bit of dynamics, and this is something that, you know, you can have a little fun with. And so our thought was, well, let's, you know, set up a scaled version that's still big. I mean, with that action figure there, you can see it's still beefy. You know, it's got plenty of thickness to it, and we thought, okay, we'll get it coming up and over like in the movie, and we'll make the top edge of that crater that he sits in, and Christian at the shop digitally built that beautifully. Pulled all, you know, a lot of the detail on that is right in the movie. Like, he really researched this stuff. But the idea here was like, thank you, Zombie Hunter. I was trying to let that go. But the idea was give people that detail of the prop, but in a presentation that feels a little more contextual or something. Like, it feels like the movie, and it's not so huge that you don't have a place to put it. So the only other change we made on this is the upper palate of the mouth on the small one is more refined. On the real prop, the upper palate is it looks like someone squiggled across it with like a tube of silicone or a hot glue gun or something. Like, it's really crazy up there. We kept the same basic shape. There's sort of a plateau and then a dip in. All of that, but we gave it a little more of the anatomy that you'd expect in there in order to make this feel very cohesive, very complete, and like what you think you see, you know? And so that's the idea. We're doing the scaled replica, And then if you go back to our other slide, we are doing 1-to-1 to the original prop, not screen sized. And that original prop, the full display there is going to be
long.
Yeah,
3 feet long.
That's huge.
John Berg said, he did a couple of takes with it, and he said it basically just ate his whole arm, and then he called it a giant loaf of bread.
Yeah.
What's interesting is we're doing this as it is in the archives. So the back end of it actually has more skin that used to just dangle. So it used to be even longer by about that much, but the back of it is actually wrapped around. So when you look at the back of this thing, it's like a donut of additional skin sort of wrapped around. It's an interesting thing, but seeing the piece in the archives, it's another one of these where it's like, when you see it, it's just so big and so cool, and immediately you know what it is if you're a Star Wars fan. And I've seen so many takes on it. There've been like little hand puppety things and oven mitts and toys and whatever else, and little mini statues and stuff. And people get close, but it's never right. It never feels like the real thing. It never, matches those proportions. And so for us, it was about getting a super high resolution laser scan of the whole thing, which was it's no small feat. And then getting in there and really making sure that we're capturing that detail and like the fabricated look of it. It doesn't look like someone just digitally sculpted a creature. It looks like someone laid up a bunch of latex and dots and things like that all over it, especially down the center of the body. You can see the strips of fabric and latex kind of pulled over this thing. And I just love it.
I love it too, and literally, this was like the mic drop of like the panel, and it's like 1-1 space slug prop replica, 3 feet long. Wow!
So I see.
Holy moly!
Yeah, it's big. I think the puppet itself is like 33 inches long, and then when you add in the little base and stuff, it's going to be about a 3 foot long display. So the mouth is big on that real one. Like the lower jaw is like 8 by 10 inches or something like that. So you can see in there real easy, and we could get that scanner in there real good. And so, the only thing that's interesting is in the back of the mouth, there's some wood from, I guess, whatever the thing they've got in there holding it up on display kind of pushing through. We didn't put that in there. But we captured the rest of it. There's like a hole cut in the way back in the mouth too. And so what we just kind of did is like, okay, we'll just fill in that hole, make that a cavity, a depression. And then we did for the top of it, we mimicked the whole, all the squiggles, all the little drips. It's all in there. And it's freaking cool. It's going to be, these are both challenges to make and to paint. Painting all the individual teeth is going to be a task, but it's totally worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely tackle that kid. I mean, no, I wouldn't. But I mean, I would be very angry. Yeah. So this will be next year, Tom.
That'll be 2025. Yeah, it's currently in basically a deep prototype. The scaled one has been fully prototyped at this point. The large one, digital is totally done, and we're just down to now outputting that at full scale. And we've done all our engineering breakdown and stuff. This has to be cast separate, that has to be cast separate. All that's been sorted out. And so, I mean, they're well on their way. We could if we weren't so busy making all this other stuff, we probably could get it out even sooner. But we don't want to assault people's wallets too badly.
Too late. Too late for that.
Yeah, too late.
Too late for that.
Just almost had me spit all over my monitor.
That would have been great.
Literally, you just like disintegrated like my wallet, like right now. You literally hit almost, like I said, every beloved creature from Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that too. That's funny.
Yeah. And the fact is that like you're offering different scales, right? Like, and that's one thing too. Like, and we really appreciate that, especially like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe like the one-on-one bus are a little, out of reach for some collectors, but they get a
Yeah.
chance to get the maquette version, even with the space slug. Maybe the collectors don't have space.
Yeah.
I take that back. Most people don't have space. I think that's the
Yeah.
number one issue with a lot of collectors. We
Yeah.
can get these things. It's just that, especially with the payment plans, it's just that the space is a factor.
Space is always a factor. And it's the sort of thing where, it's so funny too, because like we have that small one. I have one of them. It's not on my desk. It's next to it. But it's like every day I look at it, I'm like, oh, this thing is huge. And then when I see the two of them together like that, I'm like, oh my God, the other one's so much bigger. And it's weird. Scale messes with you. I don't know if you've ever seen a half scale of a human head, but it always looks tiny. You're always like, that's only half, like that. That's not a quarter scale. How could that be half scale? The small one is roughly 60% scale of the big one.
Wow.
So, you're talking a 40% increase, but you're not seeing as much of it in the small one because of the way the rock is and stuff. It's just, it's amazing how big that big one is. Somebody was asking price. I don't have price estimates on these yet. I saw somebody else asked about the Belloc staff. I think I can give you a little bit of news on that if you want. I'm jumping on my hard drive here for a second because Rob and I finalized a couple of things on that today. And by finalize, I mean, tentatively finalized. As with all of this stuff, if I say a price or something on anything or an edition size on something that's not on the website and available for sale, it always could change as we get closer. But I believe so. The staff of Belloc there, the Paul Freeman Signature Edition, 60 inches long, about 15 or 16 inches is that the giant headpiece there with the 3 ram's heads. And then there is the sort of gold-plated metallized section on the top and the bottom. All hand weathered. The staff itself is hand weathered. It's got metal running through it, so it's got stability. The top and bottom screw into place. The cool thing about that is, one, it ships in a slightly smaller box. Bully. But two, we're going to give people with this. The idea is it's going to come with a wall hanger to hang it vertically. That said, my idea is to include if you get the not secure enough for us, we're going to be air gapped. No, but with this, what we want to try and do is give people options, because again, not everybody has space for everything, and maybe somebody wants the Paul Freeman Signature Edition, but doesn't have room for the whole stick. So we're going to include a round base, about 8 inches, walnut, stained wood, made in the U.S., same stuff we use on our other indie stuff. And you'll be able to screw that headpiece onto the base and display just the headpiece on a shelf, which I think is a cool option. The other thing that we are 99% going to do is, so there will be an edition of, I believe it's 100 pieces that have the signature. We are then going to do an additional item that is a timed edition for 1 week that is just the top of the staff. So just that headpiece, the gold section.
Oh, wow.
That'll come on a base. We know 100 pieces on indie stuff is small. We also know this is much more expensive than our other indie stuff, which has all been in that $3.99, $5, $6.99 kind of range. So with this being, let me see if I can get you a number on it. Right. And yeah. So right now, tentatively, this is going to be either $15.99 or $16.99 for the signature edition, whole staff, metallized, distressed, etc.
Wow.
And then the head alone will be in the range of like $7.99. I also, thinking back, I think the Gamorrean axe then is in the $14.99 to $15.99 range, not necessarily $15.99. So I can't remember if I said 14.
That's not bad. You know, like you said, it's definitely cheaper than the gaffy stick.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like, you know, to us is, you know, this is a big substantial piece next to that gaffy stick. So when is this one estimated to go up for sale? I assume he's not talking about F-Untman. He's talking about the Belloc staff. Yeah. I think we want it to be before the end of the year. That was a little crazy. Yeah. The thing that currently is in development is the stand, the hanger. But if that can get done in time and approved by Lucasfilm and all of that, then this will get out before Christmas.
Whoa.
Which is something I would love to do. All the molds are made. We've got the first 5 of them done, you know, just as our prototypes and our samples. You know, those are ready to be sent to Lucasfilm as soon as we get an approved hanger for it. And the hanger is tricky because you don't want to damage the piece, but it's got to be substantial so it's able to hold it. There's a bit of figuring out that we have to do there, but we're almost there.
See, Tom, I'm telling you, that maquette, 1 hour if we're lucky.
I think so.
And then you know, space slug. Hey, you know, for me, definitely a space slug. Depending on like my space at the time I'm looking to pre-order, I want that. Oh my god,
you want the big one, don't you?
Oh my goodness. Oh man, yeah. This is, I mean, a lot of good stuff.
Thanks,
Tom.
man. This is, you know what? I mean, what's the analogy? It's like the duck when you see it on the water and it just looks like this, but below the surface, it's like, like that's us. You know, if you see, it's like, oh, they're releasing 1 or 2 things every month. Maybe they put something out, or every 2 months. And that's like, while we're doing that, all of this is happening. And this doesn't just happen. Like, you don't just like, oh yeah, here it is, Belloc staff, you know, like there's a lot that goes into that. And especially on something like that, where you've got, you know, chroming involved and things like that too. You've got to try different vendors. You've got to get approvals for using different vendors and things like that too. And there's so much that goes on behind the scenes in figuring this stuff out. Even things like, you know, we did an initial test on that stick with metal rod running through it, threaded rod, and the weight of the head is so substantial on that, because the real prop, the head is hollow fiberglass. Ours is solid resin, and it's so substantial that, you know, it feels a little like it's got a little bit of wiggle to it. So we had to go back in and come up with a new way to reinforce the shaft of that thing to really feel right with everything. And those are the things no one can even predict sometimes. You know, you think you've got it figured out. Like, oh yeah, we'll run threaded rod, it'll be fine. And then you get your first few samples back, and you're like, wait a minute, you know, I don't like that.
Steve is 250% in for the 101 space slug and F1.
Does Steve even like our stuff? I don't know, man. I feel like,
Jeff is like, not 200%.
Do I know that name? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So
Steve posts some of the best pictures in our Facebook group, by the way. So if you go to that Regal Robot Fan and Collector Showcase, he's on a tear right now. He's got like colored lighting and like beautiful shots. He did a beautiful setup of the hollow chest figures.
And when's this maquette? You said later this
year? Possibly by the end of the year. That was the initial plan, was for him to be before the end of the year. He may get pushed back in favor of a different maquette, depending on how we do with some of the development on the cloak for the production side of it. But yeah, he's still likely to be, if not before the end of the year, then very early in 2025.
Yeah. So I'm gonna one up
Stephen.
I'm gonna one up Steve there. 110% in for the legacy edition. Gamorrean maquette. 300% in for the space slug. Don't know which one though.
I'm trying to think of like how to approximate him. I want to say that he's like 12 or 13 inches tall. But like if you think about something that's that tall, but look at the depth on him and just the mass of it, he's really substantial.
Yeah, give us the slug. Give us the slug. Give us the slug. Yeah, we're gonna bombard you on
Easy
Monday.
for you to say, you know.
Yeah. We're gonna bombard you Monday. Give us the slug.
Yeah, we want the slug.
We
slug.
At least give us the space slug scale prop replica. At least.
Yeah. Monday we'll be showing. We're trying to figure out if we can hang the Wampa or like put it on a stand or something to get it in that office without knocking me over. But if we can get the Wampa in the office, we're going to show that, and we'll show the Gamorrean up close. We'll do some tones with it and give people a first look on that. Or I guess a second look now after tonight.
There you go, after tonight.
So there you go.
Thank you.
Sithcast exclusive.
Yeah. Thank you, Tom. Really appreciate it. But as you can see, everyone in chat. I mean, we got 30. I think 33 still watching. Thank you guys for watching us and checking us out tonight.
I mean, I didn't put them all to sleep yet. All right,
let's go. Okay. This is it. I'm telling you, Tom. Like, I was like, honestly though, like I was like, okay, they're gonna reveal some stuff, and then, like I was looking at it, I'm like, wow. I see every once in a while it's just literally like disintegrating. Like it's like
Wolverine's shirt in Deadpool.
Oh yeah, like literally like that. And I'm just
my god, we need to do that video for the Regal Robot site now. That's crazy. You know what, man? I appreciate that. We put I assume it shows, but we put so much work into not just what we do, but like the presentation of it and into things like those panels. Oh God. When they start rhyming, that's where it really is. Yeah. When I was in the theater for that, I mean, we're clear of spoiler territory, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
When I was in the theater, that scene hit. The woman next to me, who's with her boyfriend or husband, went like this. Oh
no! I was watching with my wife
out loud. Made those two sounds, like get loud gasp, and then ooh. It was like, all right.
I don't think like my wife intended for her, like for I don't think she intended to say this, but she was like, "Oh my god!" I'm like,
it was hysterical. But we put so much time and work into these panels and making sure that we deliver for folks, and that like, if we're going to show off what we're doing, we show it in the right way that people, can see the work that went into them. And it's just really, really nice when it's well received. And I will say this, I mean, I was home and I was sick and I was miserable that I wasn't at the presentation. But Rob crushed it doing the panel alone and raced through in a very short amount of time a ton of slides to give people not just a primer on who we were, but all the stuff that we've been doing, and seeing the reactions come in real time, seeing people reply to it, seeing people who are taking screenshots of Gabe's thing and posting it in different groups, like, oh my God, Space Slug. That was so freaking cool to see. And it's stuff that I probably would have missed had I been at the show. So it was just really, really gratifying, and I'm ultimately glad with the way it worked out. But it's just everybody who is out there who is talking about the stuff we did at Comic-Con and with all the stuff we've shown, thank you so much. It means like the absolute world to us at the shop, from me and Rob and the front end staff right down to the people who work on these things with us. It's everybody puts so much into what we do, and every Rancor that goes out, has had multiple people in there painting every tiny purple dot on it and things like that. The stuff that you get doesn't happen by accident. It happens with a ton of work by a very small group of very talented people, and they're all grateful for the support you give us.
Well, we us collectors and Star Wars fans are very grateful for the products that you put out. Honestly, like I said, From the moment like you showcase all your stuff in Orlando, it was, I guess, downhill for us.
And uphill for us making it. Yeah.
Uphill for you, Tom, but downhill for all of our wallets.
Yeah.
And
for me, it's so hard. I have to go to the Lucasfilm archives, and we have to touch all the original
Oh, that's terrible.
That's so
terrible.
and then to see all these things.
Poor Tom.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you? Oh, poor Tom. And,
here's a really funny thing. When the photographs for this Wampa were taken the Sunday before Comic-Con, I had been feeling sick the whole week before. I didn't, I tested, I was fine, but I must have already had it. But so Melissa did most of the paint work on it. I did a little touch up and some final touches on the paint. And then on the weekend when no one was at the shop, because I didn't want to get anybody sick, I came in still like feverish, sick as a dog, to hair this thing up and do all the photos so that we could get it in the panel. Because I was like, we have to have this Wampa in there. And my wife was mad at me. She's like, you're sick, you're gonna get blah, blah. But for me, I have been, so my name on the RPF used to be Wampa. It's like I'm obsessed with Wampas. I've been making them for years. Even before this, I had made, the way I got my name was I made a life-size Wampa as a store display for Amok Time Toys here in New York, and then I had made myself a replica of that puppet years before I got to see the real one. And for me, doing that kind of work is very relaxing. It's hard. It's not, for me, it's, I don't know. There's something about it. It just clicks for me, like I something like that, I can hair up without having pre-cut patterns or anything. I just drape and I cut and go. And, I had, I spent a bunch of time, gluing up all the hair, laying up all the hand-laid hair, all the little bits where you put it in, you cut the hair off the back and you put a loose hair in a little at a time. Doing all the styling, which is you get it looking all greasy and stringy and stuff like that. Then doing all the snow effect or the ice effect in it. It was, and his cut, which is important too. It was a ton of work, but it was really, really fun to do it. And when we do stuff like this, I'm still getting my hands dirty. The last couple of life-size Chewies, I wound up doing most of the body on one of them and some on the other. We've got 2 more that are going right now. Like whenever I can, I want to get my hands in this stuff because it's still, as all jokes aside with the uphill battle, to me, to be able to go to work and make a Wampa, like,
cool.
Tell 5-year-old Tom he's going to get to do that, and he'll say, "What's a Wampa?" And you'll say, "Well, wait 3 more years when Empire comes out. You'll be able, then you'll know." But like, tell 8-year-old or 10-year-old Tom, "Well, you'll get to make Wampas when you're older," and he'll be like, "Yeah, nailed it!" Like, dreams. So there you go,
and you get to share with that dream with all of us, right? And to be able to own these products and because these are the characters and creatures we fell in love with, and it holds a special place in our hearts. And like I said, I've been watching this and I've been preaching about this show on Netflix. It just, when I watched that show about collectibles and collectors and what they collect in terms of music or drumsticks or drum sets or baseball cards, and these are worth a lot of money. Some of them, I think the Boba Fett, the vintage Boba, with,
oh my gosh, one just
$1 million, over $1 million. It set a record, and that's Ken, I forgot his name, Ken Golden. That's his show is on Netflix,
right?
And it goes to show you, like, collectors come in all walks of life, all and all shapes and sizes, and for the opportunity to own things that we saw on screen, life-size Wampa bus, like Gamorrean Guard axe and space slugs. I would never thought that I would own anything like that in my lifetime. I would just think maybe like a toy of it or whatever the case is. I mean, Sean's got a freaking life-size bust of Chewbacca in his effing collection.
Yeah.
Sean, did you ever?
That's probably my favorite piece. It really is.
But I'm
Thanks.
just saying, did you ever think you were gonna own one?
No, not one that looks as good as
exactly
that
like
wow.
the freaking Chewbacca you saw on screen. So honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, and I could speak to probably for all of us here, thank you, Tom. And honestly, I'm not trying to like, toot your horn here, but honestly, hopefully we could see you work in a film, because we need like watching like the new Aliens movie and like how they use practical effects and seeing how good you are. I'm hoping we get to see you in a Star Wars film.
You never know. You never know. There's a
work
bunch
on the
of
Star Wars
creatures
film.
have turned up in the Mando show and in Obi-Wan, Book of Boba Fett. So stuff like this happens, and hey, you never know what's coming in the future.
Yeah. Oh wait, hey, Far, you're not supposed to share that. But I know it's kind of getting late here, and I don't want to hold you up.
Pajonies. It's like PJ Oni, like
yeah.
My Little Pajoni.
My Little Ponies and Pajonies. But yeah,
it is getting a little late. Yeah, I should probably wrap up.
No, seriously, like I could go on for another 2 hours.
We always do.
We always do. Like, yeah.
We always say the same thing. Oh yeah, we got to keep it to like an hour tonight. And 2 hours later,
Sean, first of all, Sean jinxed it. He was like, we should keep it to an hour. And then you messaged me, Tom, we should keep it to an hour. And I was like, you guys just jinx yourself. We're going.
Yeah, it's like it never happens.
I think we figured out I can't shut up.
No, we all can't. We all can't. I think we're just excited, and there's a lot of products to go over.
We got a lot in the works, and like I said, this is the tip of the iceberg. If you think this stuff is cool, just wait. We are keeping very busy. We have some stuff. Oh man, yeah, no, I won't say anymore. There's stuff I can't wait to tell people about. But
you can't give us a hint, right?
Wow.
I don't want to get you in trouble.
No hints, no nothing. No
guessing game backstage.
No guessing game backstage. I don't want the mouse shooting us in the neck with a poison dart. So, thank you, Tom. Honestly,
thank you guys.
We appreciate it. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to be the first ones to showcase some of the new stuff here and talk about it. Just real quick, I want to pick Sean's brain. What are you in for, sir?
Oh,
I know you're in for at least one thing.
I won't listen. Just be honest.
I like the slug, and I actually like the Gamorrean. Those two.
Bust.
I like the smaller slug, because the 3 foot's too big.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Slug, at least the smaller version, Tom. Please, that would honestly be one of the best Christmas gifts. I think.
I mean, I love everything. Actually, no, that Tauntaun head.
Oh, the skull. Yeah. That's gonna be good.
So if I'll
thank you,
find
Stephen and Carla.
That thing's pretty cool.
Yeah. So guys, one more time, please join the Facebook group. Join that competition.
Yeah, get in on that contest. You only got like 12 hours left.
Yes, get on that contest. By the time
we finish this podcast, that contest is over.
Yes, exactly. Get on that contest. Please check out Regal Robot's YouTube channel, Instagram.
At Regal Robot. We're all over the place. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And then the Facebook group, Regal Robot Fan and Collector Showcase. Go check it out. Get in on that contest. It's almost over, and you get more entries the more places you follow us. So if you join the group, that's 1. If you enter your email, that's 2. If you join our mailing list, that's 3. If you follow us on Twitter, each one of them is worth 5 or 6 different entries. So you can stock up like 30 or 40 entries into this contest. So get in there, check off all the boxes you can, and follow us everywhere, and maybe you'll win 3 really amazing prizes up for grabs. So you can get one of them.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it,
guys. Yes.
And then you'll be there for all the new teases and releases, and for when we do a 4,000 member contest and a 5,000 member contest. And when we do the 10,000 member contest and give away a doorbell. No. But when we but who knows?
Never know.
Who knows what we're going to do?
Yeah. And like you said, less than a year ago, you just started this group.
We just started. It's crazy. It's really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, but thank you, Tom, for giving us your time and talking about the new reveals and products coming in Regal Robot. Sean, another one in the books, man.
Can't wait.
Thank you. Yes, can't wait. There goes my wallet. But thank you guys for watching, And may the midichlorians be with you guys always and forever. We'll be back next Wednesday, same time, same place. Peace out. Peace.
See ya.
Strike me down with all of your hatred, and your journey towards the dark side will be complete.